What's going on, guys? NealGuides here. Welcome back to another video. Now, you always wanted to get past your opponent down the wing or inside the box, and you always struggle to be unpredictable. I'm going to give you top 5 skill moves that I think, in my opinion, are very easy to perform. They don't require 5-star skillers. They're very easy, very simple techniques that can help implement into your game so you can improve to become a better player and, more important, to be unpredictable. When you're beating an opponent, the difference between an average player and a good player is the ability to be unpredictable. Skill moves can help achieve that because it always expects your opponent to be on the back foot and they're always second guessing what you're doing, and it's very effective to use in certain situations, for example down the wing or inside the box. The first move I want to take over is a step over. Now, the step overs, I don't mean multiple step overs, I'm talking about a singular step over, or a step over dummy is what I like to call it, or just a dummy in general. It's basically a situation where you're doing a singular step over, but what you're doing is you're choosing an angle to exit at 90 degrees, so it's really hard for your opponent to defend against. This is really easy if you're down the wing and you want to cut into the left or to the right. Unlike most traditional skill moves like a fake shot, there's always some other angle, or there's some kind of period where you might lose the ball when you're transitioning from the animation and people can read it. The good thing with a step over is you don't know whether you're going left or right when the animation is active, and it's up for you to choose a direction. It's very easy to do. All you're doing is basically you're flicking the right analog stick twice in the direction you want to dummy in, and you're holding the left stick to exit. So let's say, for example, you want to do a dummy to the right hand side and go to the left. You'll flick the right analog stick twice to the right hand side and exit with the left analog stick to the left hand side. Obviously this is player relative, so wherever your player is in the pitch, you have to do it relative to player's position. So if you want to, for example, dummy and go the right hand side, you could dummy right stick twice to the right hand side and exit to the left. You can do it both ways, as I previously mentioned. This is really good to use down the wing if you want to cut inside, as I said, or inside the box when you want to create that space when you know for definite you're going at a 90 degree angle either left or to the right. You can also go backwards as well, but I would just say main use it for going left and right. It's really good because your opponents don't expect the skill move because people rarely do it. Now, the second skill move I want to go over is the left stick shimmy or the left stick dummy. Now, this is a skill move, or it's not really a skill move, it's one that you probably see me use a lot on stream and everyone keeps asking me how I do it. This is just very simple left stick movement. All you're doing is you're flicking the left stick in one direction and you're flicking another direction very quickly, and you're creating this kind of fake dummy animation movement. This is really effective because it's very quick in game when you do it, and it's almost got no animation at all, so your opponent won't guess what you're doing. You see, generally with most skill moves there is some sort of animation with a fake shot, so you can argue there's always some element of guessing where you're going to go. Now, the good thing with a left stick dummy is if, for example, in this situation I cut inside with Messi over here and I go back outside again, your opponent will read it as a normal left stick movement. So they won't really expect you to trick them when you're going to cut it on the inside. It can be used either way. It's very effective to do down the wing and also inside the box to create the element of space. People inside the box, they typically speaking, they panic when they defend. So they see you cut on one side and you go the other way, most of the time you're through. Very easy to do. All you're doing is you're pressing the left analog stick in one direction, and then as soon as the animation kicks in, you flick it on the opposite side. So what this is doing is, if you want to, for example, fake cut inside and then go outside again, is I'll move the left analog stick to the inside. Then as soon as the animation kicks in and I know that my player is actually moving that way, then I flick in the opposite way. So this is a really good skill move to do. The only downside with this skill move, it doesn't require a skill move or anything, but you need to have high agility and balance. It's very important you have a player who's got good agility and balance because it works better. Someone like Ronaldo, it might work, but it will probably work better with, for example, someone like Messi, because the higher the agility and balance, and I suppose you can say the shorter the height is, the lower center of gravity, and the faster they can move and exit. So you can argue against typical fullback, anyone with above 85 agility and balance can probably do very well with this skill. A very effective skill move to use down the wing. I use it down the wing a lot of the time, where I kind of fake to go one way and I go back out again. As there's no animation, it's very easy to beat your opponent, and especially inside the box. For example, the situation with Mane, very simple fake and inside and go. Simple, easy goal. A very effective method to use. Now, the third skill I want to go over is the L2 fake shot. This is very similar to the heel to heel. You've probably seen a heel to heel where you flick the right analog stick once in the direction you're going and back in the opposite way. This is very simple, but this is a more simpler version, should I say. It's all you're doing is you're holding L2 and you're pressing the fake shot button, and then you're choosing a direction. So let's say, for example, you hold L2, press the shoot button and then press the pass button to cancel that fake shot, and then the left analog stick to exit. So when you hold when you do a normal fake shot, you have a normal fake shot animation. When you hold L2, The only difference is you have the heel tilt animation, so it's very, very effective. It's really good for creating space down the wing. So let's say you're running down the wing and you want to sweat the ball back into the box or into the middle. It's very effective to use down the wing. Another good area to use it is if you want to go into the space in front of you. So let's say, for example, in this situation, I play a through ball to Ben Yedder, and as you can see, there's an opponent in front of me. Because I want to go into the space in front of me, what I do is I kind of just slow down a bit, don't run into the space, slow down, let my opponent slow down as well, activate the L2 fake shot and just create that heel tilt animation. You're going to create a lot of space in front of you. So it's really good to give yourself just a bit of space in front of you. The only thing I would say with this is you do need a 4-star skiller. It is very effective to use inside the box, or like if you want to go past the goalkeeper, it's quite risky, but it can be used. But it's very effective down the wing, inside the box, or even outside the box if you want to try to create space. For example, with Trent here, there's nowhere really to go, and no one expects someone to do it with Trent. Now, it is ideally a 3-star skill move, but I would recommend just in general for the whole video, just get a 4-star skiller, just because some of the skill moves require a 4-star, like the drag to drag, which we'll get onto in a second. But it is a 3-star skill move, sorry, but I'd recommend again a 4-star skill move. It's very good against the jockey as well, because most people when they jockey, they don't use the running jockey, they use a normal jockey, and even then, if you slow down first then use an animation, there's no chance opponent who's got a centre back, for example, a low agility imbalance is catching up. So it's very, very effective inside the box. So as I said, L2 fake shot. One thing I would say, the left analog stick, make sure you choose the exit correctly. If you do a left analog stick and you don't go into the direction you're facing, you'll end up doing like a 45-degree angle. You end up doing a Ronaldo chop. So to avoid that, make sure you let go of the run button is what I would say. Hold L2, do a fake shot, and left analog stick into the direction you're running. It's very, very important you hold that direction. Anyway, that is the L2 fake shot, or the heel to heel. I just want to quickly say as well, if you want to follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/NealGuides, I have my controller on the screen as you can see right now when I'm streaming as well. So if you want to come in, ask a question about FIFA, feel free to do so. Anyway, back to number 4. So number 4 is the drag back. In my opinion, probably the most annoying skill move to defend in the game. I'm sure you guys know it already. It's been nerfed, but it still is so effective. The reason why the drag back is so effective is you have essentially 5 different exits. It's mainly used for creating space. This is to use, for example, if your opponent overcommits on one side, you can use a drag back to kind of escape from that region by going backwards. Now, traditional drag backs, most people use a drag back, they just go back north. But the key thing is with a drag back, because it has almost 5 exits, you can do like a half drag back, you can do a forward drag back, you can do a forward drag back, and then you can do a 90-degree drag back at either side, so left and to the right hand side. This is very effective to use inside the box. Let's say you want to drag back into the space, you can do it so you can go like up into the right hand side. It's very, very effective to use from all angles. As you guys know, for creating space, especially outside the box, if your opponent is parking a bus and you haven't got a space to go into, it's really good to use it. Or let's say, for example, you get the ball inside the box and you want to do a drag back into the space. It's very, very effective. As I said, down the wing, it's really hard to defend because you see your opponent doesn't know if you're going to do a complete drag back and go backwards or if you're going to go forward. One other good thing you can do is, you've probably seen Tex do this, is you can do like a half drag back and then combine it with Elastico. It's very, very effective. Very effective skill moves that you've probably seen in the pro scene. But I think just to keep things simple, we're just going to stick with the normal drag back without no combination, just to keep things simple. So to do a drag back is very, very easy. The traditional way is you hold R1 and then use a left analog stick to exit. I prefer to hold LT or L2 and R1 or RB if you're on Xbox. So hold L2 and R1. This is the best way of using the drag back in my opinion, because the game just registers it a bit properly. So even though you might be using the drag back the correct way, I would say use this way. As you can see, it never fails. It happens every single time. We know sometimes if you're at a different angle or a wrong angle, sometimes it doesn't work. So the most effective thing to do is hold L2 and then use the left analog stick to exit. Very, very easy. So you want to go 90 degrees. It's very, very easy. Very effective skill move to use inside the box and outside the box. Now going over to the final skill move, one that we saw that was a new entrance in FIFA 20, one that was kind of used in the beginning of the game but almost forgotten about. That is the kind of the drag to drag, or the L2 fake shot hold. Now this is different from the L2 fake shot heel to heel, and I'll explain to you how. The drag to drag is basically a skill move to create space. It's really good to use down the wing. So let's say, for example, the entire game you're doing skill moves. Let's say you kept doing a drag back, or let's say you kept doing a fake shot. Your opponent's going to start reading what you're doing and it's going to give you space, or they might commit towards you. If you add a drag to drag into that equation, your opponent will be able to defend against it. Because let's say as I said, it's all about being unpredictable. If you keep doing different skill moves every single game, your opponent will always be on the back foot. This one's really good because you kind of create this animation so your opponent might start to react to you. So he might defend to you, try to go into the space where he thinks you're going to go. But that's why the drag to drag is so special, because it gives you that element of space and allows your opponent to overcommit, and you can basically outturn him, for example, in this situation over here. The only downside of the drag to drag, it is a 4-star skill move, so you have to bear that in mind. The rest of all the other skill moves in this game, you could do it with a 3-star skiller and below, but with this one you need the 4-star skill moves. So what you want to do is basically when you receive the ball, you want to hold L2 and press the fake shot button, but you don't want to press the left analog stick. Unlike the heel to heel, where you move left analog stick, all you want to do is when you get the ball, you hold L2 and you do a fake shot, and then you keep holding L2 until the animation appears. So basically what you're doing is, as soon as you get the ball, you're not moving the left analog stick whatsoever. This is important. You're just holding L2, doing a fake shot, and keep holding L2 until the animation keeps running through. The biggest mistake I see people do, let go and they try to exit quickly. That doesn't work too well. Let the animation kick in and then move. So you don't want to have no directional input. That's very, very important. So it's very good for, buying time, almost tricking your opponent. So if, for example, you want to make a pass to someone that's running above you and you want to create time or buy time, you can do that with the drag to drag. It's very, very effective. Now, truthfully speaking, all these skill moves, now if you guys watch me, you guys know I don't like using skill moves. The skill moves that I use mainly on this list are the singular step over, and the drag back is what I use the most. Occasionally I use the L2 fake shot, but the left stick shimmy or the dummy is what I use a lot. I don't like using skill moves because my play style, I don't play to win, I just play to have fun. I like to keep it very realistic as possible. That's why I thought I had to mention it. But if you really want to up your game, incorporate all these 5 skill moves with, for example, like a fake shot as well into the game. And I promise you, you'll always keep your opponent guessing. Because if you incorporate all these skill moves at different times of the games, you have to think, if your opponent defends against you once against a fake shot, he knows what you're doing. If you implement a drag to drag and the 3rd time a drag back, then the 4th time you do a drag to drag, he doesn't know what's coming. But anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you do have any further questions, of course, do let me know in the comment section down below. Take it easy boys, don't forget I stream on twitch.tv/NealGuides. If you want to get better at FIFA as well, you can sign up to my FIFA school. Full money back guarantee if you don't improve, because I know for a fact you're going to improve. Links will be down in the below description. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy boys, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.